is a transition on Atlantic Television Network. There is heavy security presence at the premises of the Federal High Court Umuahia, venue for the sitting of the governorship election petition tribunal. The tribunal is set to deliver judgment today in the petitions filed by the People's Democratic Party candidate, Chief Oke Ahiwe, and his All Progressives Congress counterpart, High Chief Ikechi Emenike, against the victory of Governor Alex Oti of the Labour Party. Everybody accessing the court premises was subjected to screening by a combined team of security operatives. Journalists have little space for them as the courtroom is filled to capacity. We shall bring you more details on the judgment in our subsequent bulletin. But recall that Abia State governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress in the March 18th poll, Ikechi Emenike, had petitioned the election tribunal challenging the outcome of the poll, saying he should be declared winner as the only qualified candidate. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) had on March 22nd, 2023 declared Dr. Alex Oti of the Labour Party as winner of the poll contested by 18 flag bearers. Meanwhile, Abia State House of Assembly has directed the heads of service of its 17 local government areas to clear grasses that have taken over their respective council headquarters within 1 week. The resolution is a sequel to a matter of urgent public importance on the need to prevent the looming danger within the various local governments and their surroundings, brought before the House by the Deputy Speaker, Okezie Augustine. The Deputy Speaker, while presenting the matter, decried the untidy state of the environment in most council headquarters in Abia State, which, if not checked, may lead to embarrassment to the state government. He prayed the House to direct the heads of service of the local governments to clear the headquarters, and to henceforth keep the councils clean, even as he suggested that the House Committee on Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs should embark on periodic supervision of the councils. Ruling on the matter, which attracted the support of all the members who spoke, the Speaker Emmanuel Emeruwa described the situation as unacceptable to the lawmakers. The Assembly also passed for second reading HAB 5, the Greater Aba Development Authority Law Bill 2023, and committed same to its Committee of the Whole for further legislative action. In his lead debate on the bill, the sponsor of the bill, Mr. Uchenna Okoro, enumerated some of the bill's benefits. According to him, if passed into law, it would lead to the carving of a new development area in the state, increasing its revenue base and helping to restore the original master plan of Aba. Choir members of the Christ Apostolic Church, OK Igan Akure, on the state abducted a week ago, have regained their freedom. A huge amount of money was paid by the church and families of their victims as ransom, according to a reliable church member. Recall that their abductors had demanded 50 million naira ransom for the release of the remaining 17 victims after 8 of the 25 abducted narrowly escaped from the kidnappers' den last week Saturday. The choir members of the church were abducted along Ifun Beni Road on their way to a funeral ceremony. A church member told newsmen in Akure that the remaining victims were released by their abductors late Thursday night after the payment of ransom. Meanwhile, the leadership of the State House of Assembly, led by the Deputy Speaker, Right Honorable Abayomi Akinruntan, who visited the church, described the incident as unfortunate. Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke has reiterated that his government has resolved never to borrow money from any financial institution to run the state. Governor Adeleke also revealed that he has devised better means of generating funds internally to continue his works in the state. The governor made this known during the first edition of Ipade Imole, a quarterly interactive public engagement forum in Osogbo. While listing the achievements of his government, Adeleke also disclosed that he has resolved to spend 2 billion naira palliative fund from the federal government on major projects, among which are renovation and procurement of more buses for easy and affordable transportation, as well as rehabilitation of health facilities. The governor also disclosed his administration has prioritized projects it intends to finance with the Infrastructure Support Fund of the federal government, which include a flyover in the state capital. Labour Party in Kogi State has refuted news making the rounds that 21 local government chairmen dumped the party for the ruling All Progressives Congress. The state publicity of the Labour Party, Idakwo Emmanuel, disclosed this at a media briefing in Lokoja on Friday. Describing the news as fake and misleading, he said the governorship candidate of the party, Barrister Adejo Okeme, has no plans of collapsing his structure for any opposition party. He stressed that the Labour Party is focused on issues that will rescue the good people of the state. According to him, the ruling party and other opposition parties in the state are using propaganda and fake news to deceive and distract followers, supporters, and members of the party. A vigilante, Peter Joseph, and a prince, Yakubu Amadu, have been arrested by the Adamawa State Police Command for allegedly raping 2 minors. The command said Peter, a resident of Sangere Futi in Gire local government area, and 25-year-old Yakubu Amadu of Koleni in Mayo Belwa local government area have confessed to the crime. The vigilante, a father of 5 children who hails from Mula in Madagali local government area, said he twice raped a little girl who hawks maize. On his part, Amadu, the son of a wardhead who was arrested on October 2nd, 2023, voluntarily confessed to raping a 13-year-old girl in the community. Spokesman of the State Police Command, SP Suleiman Nguroje, explained that the 2 were arrested by operatives implementing a strategy to curtail crime. He said the Commissioner of Police, CP Afolabi Babatola, has ordered the prosecution of the suspects upon completion of the investigation. Taraba State Government has raised the alarm over fake forms circulating in the state requesting details of innocent workers. The alarm is come barely a day after the Minister of Youth and Sports Development warned the people of the state to be wary of unscrupulous elements parading themselves as officials of the ministry, defrauding individuals, groups, and corporate organizations in the name of soliciting assistance for the ministry. Raising the alarm via a release issued by the state government through the Ministry of Waste Management and Resource Innovation and signed by Commissioner Bernard Shonzen, the government noted that those forms request the details of the innocent workers and are signed by unknown persons claiming to be under the force of the state governor. Warning the public to distance themselves from such fake forms, the supervisory ministries for the state program, according to the commissioner, are the Ministry of Urban and Rural Development and the Ministry of Waste Management and Resource Innovation. He urged the beneficiaries to go through their elected representatives and commissioners to obtain the forms for completion. He said the forms are being distributed to beneficiaries by members of the State House of Assembly and all commissioners from each of the local government councils. Special Military Task Force in Plateau State says its operatives have arrested 2 notorious kidnappers and 89 other criminals in Plateau and the neighboring Kaduna State. This was contained in a statement by the media officer of the task force, Captain Oya James. He said the arrest followed various operations embarked by the troops for the past weeks. He added that the troops equally secured the conviction of 4 suspects within the period under review and freed several kidnapped victims as well as stolen cows. According to the statements, the suspects during interrogation confessed that they were involved in the kidnapping of 7 students of the University of Jos in July 2023. According to him, items recovered from the suspects include 1 AK-47 rifle loaded with 12 rounds of 7.6 mm special ammunition. The commander assured the general public that the arrested suspects would be arraigned in court upon the conclusion of investigations. Muslim Rights Concern has commended the Kano state government for prohibiting some textbooks in nursery, primary, and secondary schools due to harmful and sexually explicit content. Murik chairman in Kano, Hassan Idambawa, in a statement said the move by the government to remove some lewd and pernicious teaching materials from the curriculum of basic schools was commendable. He said the decision of the Kano government under the leadership of Governor Abba Yusuf came at the right time. Indabawa further said the group was one of the frontline advocates for removing all obscene teaching aids from the nation's educational system. Kano State government on Thursday said it had banned the use of some textbooks across nursery, primary and secondary schools in the state due to harmful and sexually explicit content. Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has appealed to the judiciary to look into indiscriminate issuance of injunctions against the FCT administration on land racketeering and other matters. Wike made the appeal when a delegation of the FCT judiciary, led by the FCT Chief Judge, Justice Hussaini Yusuf, visited him in his office in Abuja. He lamented the sharp practices going on in the FCT, sometimes in collusion with some staff of the FCT administration, adding that judges were also complicating issues with indiscriminate injunction. He added that the racketeering in FCT was getting out of hand and urged the Chief Judge to look into it. The minister commended the Chief Judge for the stability in FCT judiciary and the cordial relationship between the FCTA and the judiciary, and stressed the need to strengthen the working harmony. He promised to improve the welfare of judges in the FCT judiciary, particularly in the area of accommodation. You are watching the transition on Atlantic Television Network. We return after this break. Welcome back. This is Atlantic Television Network Transition. Now the rest of our stories. House of Representatives has urged the federal with a view to saving money and reducing the increasing wage bill. The House also asked the government to embark on cost-cutting measures to reduce other non-debt recurrent expenditures in the nation's budget. The resolution was reached by the Green Chamber following a motion at the plenary by Honorable Ademorin Kuye from Lagos State. The lawmaker disclosed that federal government personnel expenses, pensions and other non-debt recurrent expenditures have increased by 241% in 13 years, from 2.4 trillion naira in 2011 to 8.27 trillion naira in 2023. He stressed that the country's revenue within the period received massive hits from debt servicing obligations, while the government has little or nothing left for recurrent expenditures and has resorted to borrowing. Kuye added that the country's debt servicing obligations up to 97% of the total revenue were 3.42 trillion naira during 2011, with the government spending 3.34 trillion naira. According to him, this is
trillion in 2023. Also note that the total not debt expenditure from 2011 to 2023 is 51.97 trillion, while 42.24 trillion was expended from 2015 to date, which represents 81.8% of the total expenditure of the period under review. Aware that the country's revenue within the period received massive hits from debt servicing obligations, the government have little or nothing left for the recurrent expenditure and has resorted to borrowing. Also aware that the debt servicing obligation got 97% of the total revenue of 3.42 trillion generated in 2011. Nigeria expended 3.34 trillion on debt servicing, meaning all federal government salaries, overhead, capital expenditure was financed with loans and Central Bank of Nigeria support.
Contributing to the debate, a member from Katsina State, Honorable Sada Soli, described the motion as an indictment on the National Assembly because saying that it has failed to carry out due diligence on the annual budget as enshrined in the Constitution. According to Honorable Soli, the Parliament has not paid much attention to personnel and overhead costs of the government as contained in the annual budget during budget defense. He urged the leadership of the House to allow robust scrutiny of overhead and personnel estimates in the 2024 budget, which will soon be presented to the National Assembly by the President.
Mr. Speaker, this motion, sadly, is an indictment on National Assembly. Referring to Section 88 and 89 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, this motion is a challenge on us. Historically, with reference to my service to this August chamber, I think we have not paid attention to this particular issue this motion is talking about. Year in, year out, we have not paid attention to personnel cost in our budgetary system. Any attempt committees made to touch or to interrogate personnel cost expenditure and recurrent expenditure, which are components of non-date recurrent expenditure of our national budget, we face daunting challenges with our appropriation committees. And that is one of the gaps that we open up, and then we allow a lot of shenanigans going on in this part of our budgetary system.
Senate has resolved to investigate the circumstances leading to the abandonment of Great Nurse Olorunfemi by the staff and management of Maitama General Hospital, Abuja. This was equal to a motion moved by Senator Asukwo Ekpeyong demanding an urgent need to ensure compliance with the provisions of the Act 2017 that ensures compulsory treatment and care of victims of gunshot wounds and other emergencies. Correspondent Rotimi Adewi reports.
On the 26th of September, it means greatness. Olorunfemi was denied opportunity to fight for her life due to an account of alleged refusal of Maitama General Hospital and treat her after being pushed out of a fast-moving vehicle by one chance operator. The Senate, during policy, having condemned the act by the hospital, will be investigating the tragedy of the motions. Senator Asukwo Ekpeyong also requested for stiffer penalties as stated by Section 13 of the Act 2017 beyond 5 years jail term or 50,000 naira for any authority that faults this provision.
Also, alongside punishments for contravention of the provisions of this act, but that the problem centered around enforcement and compliance. Affirms the need to uphold the provisions of Section 14(2)(b), 33 and 34 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as altered, and to ensure strict compliance of the compensatory treatment and care of gunshot to stop unnecessary loss of precious life due to persistent of hospitals to admit, treat, and care for victims of gunshots and other incidents.
After several deliberations and contributions that the lawmakers, the Senate mandated on health, FCT and police affairs to investigate the matter by inviting relevant authorities to appear before it and report back to the Senate in 3 weeks.
Mandate the committee.
Those who are in support of this prayer say aye. Those who are against say nay. The ayes have it.
The Senate thereafter observed a 1-minute silence for Ms. Greatness Olonfemi and other victims of and other emergency who may have suffered the same fate by paying the ultimate price. From Abuja, Rotimi Adewi, ETN News.
And on to sports. Argentina are set to host Paraguay next Thursday in a World Cup qualifier before traveling to Peru on October 17th. Messi's club was thrashed without him on Wednesday night as they lost 4-1 to the Chicago Fire at Soldier Field. The loss leaves the Herons 5 points adrift of the postseason place with just 3 more games to play. Unsurprisingly, Miami has struggled without its talisman in the lineup. The club has drawn twice and lost twice, including in the U.S. Open Cup finals since the Argentine departed the 4-0 win versus Toronto. On September 20th, Argentina won its first 2 World Cup qualifiers last month, beating Ecuador 1-0 and Bolivia 3-0. Fellow MLS star Thiago Almada, who plays for Atlanta United, was also named in this Argentina squad. Messi buoyed Miami to its first trophy in the League's Cup and has 11 goals in all competitions, but his impact on MLS specifically has been smaller. He has appeared in the competition just 4 times due to his recent injury struggles and being away. And that's the size of the package. Thanks for joining us. I am Anita Obari. You can follow us on our social media platforms, Twitter at Atlantic TV Net, Facebook and YouTube at Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok at Atlantic TV.